Live from KX News, this is Good Day Dakota.
Good morning. Welcome to Good Day Dakota. I'm Josh Menny.
And I'm Alicia Huck. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. We continue our COVID-19 watch with an in-depth look at the first of its kind lawsuit filed here in the state.
A Minot assisted living facility is suing the governor and the state health department over an executive order that prohibits the use of an in-house beauty salon for its residents. Somerset Court LLC said in a lawsuit filed Wednesday, the executive order issued last month in response to coronavirus is, quote, without sufficient justification or rationale, end quote. The North Dakota-owned facility is asking a state judge to stop the state from enforcing the executive order at the nursing home and to award attorney fees. This is the first such lawsuit related to COVID-19 executive orders filed against the state. Lynn Bohe, an attorney for Somerset Court, said the facility's beautification was recently cited by a Minot police officer for continuing their work. The worker was cited for an infraction that may carry a $1,000 fine. The attorney says they've been trying to fix this for more than a month and that it was, quote, clear that the only way to get this fixed is to sue, end quote. Burgum said at his daily briefing that he expects more lawsuits in the future and would not comment specifically on any pending litigation.
That would be an ongoing lawsuit, so we won't make any comments to that specific. I will say that we understand very empathetically, but we also understand that the rate of where we can have the highest and fastest rate of outbreak that could be fatal would be inside of long-term care facilities.
According to the director of Somerset Court, there are 120 residents and about 80 staff members there. He says there have been no confirmed cases of the coronavirus at the facility. That brings us to the numbers. Health officials say 32 additional people tested positive for COVID-19 since Wednesday, bringing the statewide total now to 709. The North Dakota Department of Health also reported one new death, a woman in her 80s from Cass County with underlying medical conditions, which brings the state's total to 15 deaths. As we break it down county by county, Cass County had the highest amount with 18. Grand Forks County had 8. Montreal and Burleigh each saw 2 new cases, and Burke and Richland counties each had 1. The number of hospitalizations is down by 5, with a total of 18 patients currently hospitalized, and 40 more people have now recovered, moving the overall number of people who have now recovered to 269. There are currently 425 active cases in the state. 741 people have been screened since Wednesday, bringing the total number of people tested here in the state to 16,330. For the latest information on the coronavirus, including a recap of the governor's daily briefings, resources, case numbers, and prevention, visit our website, kxnet.com.
Well, after a major coronavirus outbreak in an Ohio prison this week, there were 73% of the inmates there tested positive. So KX News is putting North Dakota first and taking some time to look at our own state prison. And at the North Dakota State Penitentiary, the director of facility operations says communication and keeping things as normal as possible is the key to getting through this. Colby Braun says that there just isn't enough space to keep everyone 6 feet apart. Inmates still have to double bunk in a cell, but Braun says that the state pen is confining them to their units. So if you're in the A pod, for example, you stay there all day, except for mealtime, but just with those 70 men.
If we would lock down our prison systems right now and just stop everything, we have no idea when the end would be, and it would really create mass chaos and anxiety and stress.
Now, both the state pen and the MRCC have set aside isolation areas to quarantine any inmates who become ill with COVID-19. And as of right now, no North Dakota prisons have had a positive case. Well, and as inmates are released from our state prisons and jails during this time, we also took a look at how this is affecting the victims in these cases. Burleigh County State's Attorney Julie Lawyer says that as far as her office knows, any victim whose offenders have been released because of the state emergency have been notified as they normally would. Under Marcy's law, victims can sign up for automatic notifications anytime there's an update in their case, or if their offender is released from a state jail or prison. Victims can also provide contact information to their victim witness coordinator, and a law enforcement officer will contact them directly.
The only thing we were potentially concerned about was the courthouse is closed to the public and they're only allowing in essential people for hearings. And so the court is actually setting up its phone conferences for all the hearings. That way, if victims want to be present for the hearing or want to address the court, they can call in and they can be part of that hearing yet.
The lawyer says that her office has had cases during the pandemic already where victims have invoked their rights under Marcy's law to be present during all hearings, and the courts have been able to make this happen virtually. And lawyer tells us that the state's victim compensation program remains unchanged as well. Well, be sure to stay with us here on Good Day Dakota. Still to come as people continue to stay home, the risk for home fires is actually higher. Coming up after the break, we've got some tips for you to stay safe. And be sure to stick around because Amber will be back to tell us how the weekend is looking in her full weather forecast in just a bit.
Watching Good Day Dakota with Josh Meny, Alicia Huck, and weather with meteorologist Amber Wheeler. Good Day Dakota on KX News, putting North Dakota first.